Welcome back to Cooking with Gerald. On today, it's all about corn. Have you ever dreamed of harvesting your own fresh sweet corn? You might think you need a huge field or a massive backyard to make that happen. But I'm here to tell you that you can grow delicious corn right on your patio or balcony. Container gardening opens up a world of possibilities for urban gardeners and anyone with limited space. It allows you to control the soil, manage water more effectively, and keep a close eye on your plants. Growing corn in pots is a fun and rewarding project. It brings a piece of the classic American farm right to your home, no matter how small your space might be. Let's get growing. The biggest benefit of container gardening is total control. When you plant in the ground, you have to work with the soil you've got. In a container, you create the perfect environment from scratch. This is a huge advantage for a heavy-feeding plant like corn. You can also place your pots in the sunniest spot available, moving them if needed to track the light throughout the day. This ensures your corn gets the 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight it craves. Plus, harvesting is so much easier. The ears are right at a comfortable height, ready for you to pick and enjoy just minutes later. So, what kind of corn should you grow? Not all corn varieties are suited for container life. You want to look for smaller, dwarf, or early maturing types. These plants won't grow as tall as their field-grown cousins, making them much more manageable in a pot. Varieties like Painted Mountain or Blue Jade are excellent choices. They are not only compact but also incredibly beautiful, adding ornamental value to your garden space. Another great option is Sweet Painted Mountain, which is adapted to cooler climates and matures quickly. Choosing the right variety is the first crucial step to a successful container corn harvest. Getting started is simpler than you think. You don't need a lot of fancy equipment, just a desire to get your hands a little dirty and watch something amazing grow. This guide will walk you through everything you need to know. We'll cover picking the perfect pot, mixing the best soil, and planting your seeds for success. We will also dive into how to care for your corn as it grows tall and strong. Imagine stepping outside your door to pick a fresh ear of corn that you grew yourself. It's an incredible feeling, and it's completely achievable. Let's dig in and make it happen together. Choosing the right home for your corn is critical. Corn plants have extensive root systems and are heavy feeders, so they need plenty of space to thrive. I recommend a container that is at least 15 to 20 gallons in size. A half whiskey barrel or a large fabric grow bag works perfectly. The pot must have excellent drainage holes at the bottom. Corn plants hate having wet feet, and waterlogged soil can lead to root rot, which will quickly kill your plants. A bigger pot not only provides more room for roots but also holds more moisture, meaning you won't have to water quite as often on hot summer days. Now, let's talk about what to fill that pot with. Corn is a hungry plant, so it needs rich, fertile soil. A standard potting mix from the store is a good starting point, but we can make it even better. I like to create my own super mix. Start with a high-quality potting mix and amend it with plenty of compost or well-rotted manure. This adds vital organic matter and slow-release nutrients. I also mix in some perlite or pumice to improve aeration and drainage. This combination creates a light, fluffy, and nutrient-dense medium that your corn roots will absolutely love growing in. The best time to plant your corn is in the spring, after your last frost date has passed. Corn loves warm soil, so don't rush it. Wait until the soil temperature is consistently above 60 degrees Fahrenheit or about 15 degrees Celsius. You can start seeds indoors a couple of weeks early if you have a short growing season, but corn generally prefers to be sown directly into its final pot. Starting them indoors can sometimes lead to transplant shock, as their sensitive root systems don't like to be disturbed. Patience is key here. Planting in warm soil will give your seeds the strong start they need. When you're ready to plant, fill your container with your prepared soil mix, leaving about an inch of space at the top. Water the soil thoroughly and let it drain. Plant your corn seeds about 1 to 1.5 inches deep. Because pollination can be tricky in containers, it's best to plant in a block formation rather than a single row. In a large round pot, plant 4 to 6 seeds in a grid pattern, spaced about 6 inches apart. This proximity helps the pollen from the tassels fall onto the silks below, which is necessary for kernels to form. Water gently after planting, and keep the soil consistently moist until germination. Water is the lifeblood of your corn crop, especially when it's growing in a container. Pots dry out much faster than garden beds, so you'll need to be vigilant. Check the soil daily by sticking your finger about 2 inches deep. If it feels dry at that depth, it's time to water. Water deeply and thoroughly until you see it running out of the drainage holes. This ensures the entire root ball is hydrated. During hot, windy weather, you might even need to water every day. Consistent moisture is most critical during 2 key stages: germination and when the silks first appear on the developing ears. Corn is one of the heaviest feeders in the garden world. That rich soil mix you started with gives them a great head start, but they will need more food as they grow. Once your corn plants are about a foot tall, it's time to start a regular feeding schedule. I recommend using a balanced, all-purpose liquid fertilizer every 2 to 3 weeks. A fertilizer higher in nitrogen is especially beneficial in the early stages to encourage lush, green growth. When you see the tassels forming at the top of the stalks, you can switch to a fertilizer that is a bit higher in phosphorus and potassium to support ear development. To get plump, juicy kernels, your corn needs to be pollinated successfully. In a large field, the wind takes care of this, blowing pollen from the tassels, the male flowers at the top, onto the silks, which are the female flowers on the ears. In a small container planting, the wind might not be enough. You can become the wind. Once the tassels open and start shedding a fine yellow powder, gently shake the stalks each day. This helps the pollen drift down onto the silks below. You can also hand pollinate by carefully cutting off a tassel and brushing it over the silks of each ear. As your corn stalks grow taller, they may become top-heavy and vulnerable to wind. Providing some support is a wise move to prevent them from snapping. You can place sturdy bamboo stakes or thin poles into the pot near each stalk and loosely tie the stalk to the stake as it grows. Be careful not to damage the roots when inserting the stakes. This simple step provides stability and peace of mind, ensuring your plants stay upright and healthy. Keeping the area around your pots free of weeds and debris also helps improve air circulation and reduces places for pests to hide. Even with the best care, you might encounter a few common problems. Pests like aphids or corn earworms can sometimes show up. For aphids, a strong spray of water from the hose can often knock them off. If they persist, insecticidal soap is a safe and effective treatment. Corn earworms are a bit trickier. They burrow into the tip of the ear. You can try applying a few drops of mineral oil to the silks just after they begin to dry. This can smother the young larvae. The best defense is a healthy plant, so good watering and feeding practices are your first line of defense against most issues. Another challenge specific to container corn is incomplete pollination. If you harvest an ear and find it has many missing kernels, this is likely the cause. Each silk is connected to a single potential kernel, and each one must be pollinated for that kernel to develop. This is why planting in a block and hand pollinating is so important for container growers. Don't be discouraged if your first attempt isn't perfect. Gardening is a learning process, and even an ear with a few missing kernels is a delicious success that you grew yourself. Every season is a chance to improve your technique. So, how do you know when it's time for the best part, the harvest? The signs are clear once you know what to look for. About 20 days after the silks first appear, they will turn dry and brown. This is your first clue. Next, gently squeeze the ear. It should feel full and firm. The final test is to carefully peel back a small section of the husk and pierce a kernel with your thumbnail. If a milky white liquid squirts out, it's ready. If the liquid is clear, it needs more time. If it's thick and pasty, you've waited a bit too long. To harvest, hold the stalk firmly with one hand and grab the ear with the other. Twist the ear downward and pull sharply. It should snap off cleanly from the stalk. The sugars in corn begin converting to starch the moment it's picked, so for the sweetest flavor, cook it as soon as possible. There is truly nothing that compares to the taste of corn eaten just minutes after being harvested. Growing corn in containers is a journey, but the reward of that first sweet, juicy bite makes every bit of effort worthwhile. I encourage you to give it a try. You might just surprise yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe.